Hello everyone and welcome to the second Let's Play that I'm going to have on my channel. This is Mount and Blade Warband. It's one of my favorite games ever since several years ago. I saw someone playing it on YouTube. I loved watching that person. I got the game. I love playing it. It's very entertaining to me. It's very relaxing to me. It has a great soundtrack and it has great gameplay that I really love. Although I do kind of tend to do the same things over and over again. But this is basically a medieval fantasy strategy game where you have your character and you control large-scale battles on an open field against an AI opponent. Um, I do know that there is multiplayer in this game. I don't think I've ever done it before, and I've heard mixed mixed results about the multiplayer. It doesn't really play as you would want multiplayer to play in something like this. We can get into this later. I want to let you know that I'm playing on the Vext native mod pack. I'll go over a little bit later exactly what is in the mod pack and what is changed by it, but generally it keeps everything pretty vanilla. There's no like new troops or new factions or anything that are added to the game. It's just a few quality of life changes that make the game go faster. And I like this because while you can definitely get through everything playing the game vanilla, it takes a lot longer and it takes a lot more work and the game runs a lot longer, and I don't really feel like having a 3 to 4 to 500 part let's play right off the bat on my channel. I'd like to keep something to within 100 episodes, and I think I can do that with this game. So let's hop right in. We're going to start a new game, and I'm not going to be reading all the text. Basically, this whole thing here is just that um, it's kind of set in the traditional medieval society, um, and that you can play as male or female characters, but female characters are going to have a harder time, as in typical medieval society. Women were not really treated super well, and they did not hold nearly the amount of respect. Although there were women who did command a lot of respect, they had to work and earn it a lot harder than men did. Um, but that's basically all this says is like, hey, you can play as a woman or you can play as a male. Um, but women are going to have a harder time. So we're going to continue. I'm going to be male. And now we start picking the various parts of their backstory, sorry. And these parts of their backstory basically determine what our starting stats are. So I go after the same kind of things every time. I'm going to go warrior. Veteran warrior was my father. As a child, we scrabbled out of meager living as because he was a guardsman. Um, and in early life, we were a craftsman's apprentice. As a young adult, we became a squire, and somewhere along the lines, I think our father died or was killed or something. So we are going to go for personal revenge. And we are going to start going. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Um, so the game saving policy, this basically lets you. Sometimes you might end up in a situation where you end up not liking the results, and so you can tell the game to let you quit without saving. Seeing as this is a let's play and I want to keep things pretty in line, I don't want to be able to just like say, hey, let me go back and then a whole bunch of time that we spent doing this is just not really there. We're going to do realistic, no quitting without saving. Um, it's going to make it harder, and we have to be more careful, but it'll be worth it in the end. So, this is the basic loadout that I have. I'm going to go over each of the abilities and stuff, starting with the attributes. Strength. Um, every point in strength adds 1 point to hit to your health, your hit points, which is up here. Um, they also contribute to certain things like your melee attack strength and everything like that is all kind of calculated from your strength, as well as other um, skills over here. Agility involves how proficient you are with weapons. It also increases movement speed a little bit. That's non-mounted movement speed, I believe. It's a pretty important stat, but only up to a certain point, and I'll explain why later. Intellect. Intellect has some really interesting benefits. Basically, every point you put into intellect gives you an extra skill point to spend. So every time you level up, you get an attribute point, you get a skill point, and you get some weapon points. If you put your attribute point into intellect, then you'll get an extra skill point to spend on that level. So it's a way to, buffing up your intellect is a way to get a lot of skill points to get skills that you really want to be leveled up. And charisma affects your party size limit. Every point increases party size limit by 1. Also, the skills that are involved in charisma help with some of the really important things like prisoner management and leadership are all affected by charisma. Trade is also affected by charisma, so it affects basically a lot of money stuff, which is really important in this game. Surprisingly, it is definitely a strategy combat game, but you can't really, win if you're poor. So we have 4 points to spend, and one of the important things to remember to know about this is all of these skills here. Each one has one of these attributes that are dedicated to them. Every 3 points you put into these attributes, so like in factors of 3, so points 1, 2, and 3. If you had like 3 points in strength, you would be able to get 1 rank of some of these skills that are based off of strength. And so on the 3rd point, you basically can put an extra skill point into the thing. That's going to be really important because certain things we're going to need specifically 4 skill points in, like riding. In riding, we're going to need to get the best horses in the game. To get the very best horses, you need 5 points into riding. However, the benefit from the tier right below it up to the very best tier is not much, and mostly it is actually a hindrance because it has to deal with horses that have negative attributes. So we're going to basically make sure we have 12 strength. We're going to increase charisma up to 9 and put a point into intellect. And now I'll go over what all these skill points are and what they talk about. Iron Flesh is basically health. This is a really quick and easy way to increase your health. So my health starts at 49. Every point into this is going to increase my health points by 2. Each point in strength increases my health by 1. So this really helps you get a lot of health. You don't ever end up having a ton of health. Armor is really what you want more than health. Let's see here. Power Strike. Power Strike increases melee damage. So when you use melee weapons, Power Strike is what you need. A lot of the melee weapons, a lot of the armors actually have strength requirements. Usually, it's only about 12 or 16, somewhere in between there, at the most. So again, you don't need a ton of attributes. You go pretty high in levels in this game, but there's a lot of skills here for you to help out with. So power throw, this affects your power and your effectiveness with throwing weapons. Um, I do not like throwing weapons. I think they're cool, but even with the changes the mod maker made, I don't find that they're very effective. Um, so I'm not going to put any points into power throw. Power draw affects bows, and bows I think are the most effective of ranged weapons for the character to use. For the AI, I prefer them to have crossbows, but we'll get into that later. Um, Weapon Master affects basically how high you can make your proficiency. Your proficiencies basically go up as you use certain weapons. So like one-handed weapons, the more you use like one-handed swords and maces and axes and stuff, the more your proficiency is going to increase. And you're going to get more and more skill points, which is going to make your effectiveness with the weapon type a lot higher. Um, like I said, you get weapon points when you level up, and Weapon Master, the more ranks for Weapon Master you have, the more points that you get here that you can actually put into them, as opposed to the points that you get from using like a one-handed weapon or a two-handed weapon. It's kind of hard to explain now, but you'll see how it goes later. Shield skill is really important. It's weird. It basically improves coverage. So the more points you have into shield, if you have a shield equipped, basically the more that shield is going to cover you, which is really kind of weird, but that's why it's really important. So, you know, at the higher ranks, you get a shield that as soon as you put it up, it's going to, even if it's like a dinky little shield, it's going to protect, your whole body, which is going to be important because a lot of the better shields are a little bit smaller and basically using this mechanic. Athletics is your basic movement speed, your running speed. It's good to have for when you do sieges and stuff. I will be mostly fighting from horseback, so I'm not going to put a lot of points into it early. Um, but it's more of those quality of life skill points. Kind of like, oh, well, there's not a lot else that I want to put skill points into right now, and I don't really need to save a lot up, so let me just dump some into athletics to make my character run faster. Riding affects the riding speed and maneuverability that you have on horses, and it also lets you ride better horses that we have. And we're going to basically put this up to 4 points eventually. And that's going to be one of the main goals, real quick, is because at 4 points of riding, we can use the best horses, or the horses that I want to use. It's going to be really nice to do. Horse archery affects your accuracy and basically reduces how the accuracy penalty that you get from using a ranged weapon from horseback. So normally, like if you have really high archery skill over here, you can pull your bow back and you have a really tight, very accurate shot if you're standing. If you're on a horseback, though, that accuracy is a lot lower, and so this basically helps to shore that up. Looting affects the amount of loot obtained when you win battles. It does not affect the quality of loot, only the amount, and that's important. Trainer, basically every rank of trainer lets your hero and anyone else who has the skill point, which is really important to know, give some experience to any party member that is lower than his or her level. So if I had like 3 ranks of trainer and I was at level 20, anyone in my anyone in my party who was lower than level 20 would get some experience from me every day. It doesn't like take away experience or anything. They get some experience from it. Tracking basically lets you know more information about certain things, like where different parties have moved recently. It's nice, but it's not really all that important right now. Tactics affects your battle advantage. I'm not exactly sure what this does, but we don't need to worry about it on our character. Basically, all of these skills have they're either personal skills or they are party skills, or they are leader skills. So if it's a personal skill, it means that using it will only affect you. Um, It'll only affect your character. A party skill means that whoever in your party has the highest rank of it. So if I have someone in my party who has like rank 10 of tracking, even if I have rank 5 of tracking, our party as a general is going to have rank 10 of tracking. And then leader skills are skills that only work for the party leader. So most of the time, that's going to be the main character. So like leadership, which increases the number of troops you can command by 5 per point, and reduces troop wages by 5% per point. Um, it works on the leader of the party. So you could potentially make some of your companions like really high on some of these leader skills, and then later on basically send them off to be lords of your kingdom and everything, and they'll be like be able to have like really good armies, or like hold a lot of prisoners or stuff like that. Let's see, where were we? Pathfinding. Pathfinding increases the party map speed. This is really important, but again, it's a party skill, so I'm going to leave it to one of my party members. Spotting affects how far away you can see other parties and stuff on the main map. It's really important because at night you get a much lower spotting range, and being able to see what's around you is really helps when you're trying to like run away from certain things or catch up to certain things. Inventory management. Every rank of this increases the amount of inventory space you have by six slots. Wound treatment effects is basically increase ranks of this increase the party healing speed. So after you have a battle, some of your people may be wounded, and with wound treatment, they will heal back up to full health a lot faster. Surgery gives a chance that anyone who's struck in battle is going to basically not be killed, and instead of being killed, they'll be knocked unconscious so that they can fight another day, and they'll be wounded. First aid affects how much you can heal in battle. I don't really ever notice this coming to effect, although the person who has high ranks in all these things that we get, I always make sure to keep it first aid up there, because you never know if maybe it is doing something, you just don't know it. Engineer affects the siege equipment speeds, also is speeds on fife improvements and how much they cost and everything are affected by engineer. Persuasion affects whether or not you can make other people accept your other people do what you want. It also, and so the higher your persuasion, the more often you're going to be able to convince people to do things. Prisoner management ranks into this, lets you hold more prisoners by 5 per rank, which is really important. Leadership, again, affects how many troops you can command and have in your party. And trade reduces the trade penalty, so you'll see, just like in like games like Skyrim and everything, like you can see the value of something, so you know exactly how much that thing is worth, but how much someone is actually going to give you for it is affected by trade, and that's the trade penalty, basically. So increasing this reduces that penalty. For right now, though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a couple points into power draw so that I can actually use a bow. I have some riding already. I put another point into trainer. I'm going to put a couple points into prisoner management. I have 1 point. I think I'll just get up power strike right now. This will be really helpful early on for me to do a lot of damage. Now, the weapons that I like to use, I really like one-handed, two-handed weapons, so I'm mostly going to throw points into like one-handed weapons, but I also like bows, so I do that. And as for our name, we are going to be Captain Sheldon. And let's go. Um, Basically, the face doesn't really matter. End game, I'm going to be wearing a helmet for the most part, so it's not really all that important. But I'll try and make it get someone who looks kind of, decent. Um, no, no. I think it's this guy that I like having. Um, this beard and yeah, this hair. So it looks pretty good. All right, so now we're going to basically pick which area we go to. There's Swadia, there's the Kingdom of Swadia, there's the Kingdom of Vagars, Kurg Kante, the Kingdom of the Nords, the Kingdom of the Brodogs, and the Serenid Sultanate. Basically, this basically takes you to one of the main cities in each of their places. Basically, Praven is going to be where the King of Swadia is. Revaden is the King of the Vagars. Tolga is the Khan of the Kurg Kante. Sargoth has the King of the Nords. Jelkala has the King of the Brodogs. And Shariz has the Sultan from the Serenid Sultanate. I think I'm going to go to Sargoth. I like Nords. I think they're really nice early game to have. They have good archers. They have the strongest melee warriors. Late game, I prefer Rhodokian and Swadian troops, but I'll explain more about why I like that a little bit later. So basically, we took passage up to the Nordic lands and went to Sargoth, and all of a sudden we are in the streets and we hear a sound around us. So this is Sargoth. Yep, and it looks like we have some bandit guy coming at us. So we have a crossbow. That is not working, so let's use our sword. Oh my god, I am making a farce of this. Oh man, that was bad. That should not have taken me nearly that long. I do not know why I cannot aim down the sights. I will have to figure out why that's happening, because normally I could just right click and aim down sights. So basically this is the merchant. He comes to everyone. This is the tutorial basically. I'm going to basically go through the tutorial and then we're going to end this first episode off there. Takes you to his house and he's like, hey, come over here. He's gonna basically send us off to go take care of some brigands around us. I think it's his daughter or his son or something like that. Someone that he knows was taken by bandits, basically nearby. His brother. And so you can basically skip all of this stuff if you want. But I like to do it because you get a little bit of starting money, you get some starting troops, you get a little bit of starting experience, and it's really easy. So now that we're here, we're going to leave Sargoth, and we were given some money. We can see our current quest right now is to collect 5 men, so we have to go to the various towns and villages around to recruit some men, and hopefully and apparently we are getting into our first battle. It's just me, but I am... Okay, I see how this is working. It's just me, but I am on horseback, which gives me a really big advantage. So basically, I'm going to ride around these guys a lot and just take pot shots with my crossbow. And if I see them off on the sides like this... Oh. not working. But basically, the idea is that I'm going to try and come along and do that. And these is... Guys, this is why being in the Nordlands early is both good and dangerous, because these are basically sea raiders. And they are tough. They're the toughest bandits in the game, actually. These might have just been deserters, though. But it all comes to the same thing. So I'm just gonna like try and ride around, and I might lose here, might not. We'll have to see. I am taking a real beating here, though. It's not going well. Yeah, now I'm gonna die. Yeah, there it goes. So, ranged troops in this game are really powerful. So now, this is what happens when you get killed, is basically they take you prisoner, and eventually you'll be able to escape them. Usually you lose like all of your party members and a lot of your gear. So I didn't really have anything, so I think the game's going to take pity on me. And let me basically get out. And so yeah, they were deserters. And I'm going to come in here, and I cannot... Oh. I guess I did have enough money. I had enough money to get 11 Nord recruits. So that's good. Before anything happens, I'm going to go back to Sargoth. And yeah. So this is all I'm about to do is something I'm going to do a lot. But because I have cheats enabled technically, I'm not going to use any of the cheats except for one of them. Which I didn't even get a chance to do it, but basically it allows me to increase the general speed of the game when you're on the map. So for now, what we have to do is we have to visit the tavern. We gotta find the Merchant of Sargoth, who I believe is upstairs. Is he up here? Yes, that's him. And we're gonna tell him, okay, we're gonna hunt for bandits. Yada yada yada. And because of just the way this works, this is who we have to fight. Quick, these are not like the deserters that we just got into a battle with. So we're gonna say, I've been looking for you. Tell me where you keep your prisoners, and I'll let you go. Ha! Those prisoners are only going free if you pay their ransom. Did you bring any silver? No, but I brought steel. Har! Steel, and now you see, like, I had 11 Nord recruits, and here are all 11 of them. They are now in this battle with me, which helps out a lot because it makes... They are actually pretty strong. Your warriors and everything end up being really strong. And they'll do a good job, especially against these guys. These are like the worst, shittiest bandits. All they do is like throw rocks and stuff, and they go down really easy. Like you see, he was throwing rocks. I'm not afraid of these guys like I was all those Nord archers before. Nord archers are not something I could handle at that point. So this is the last guy here. As you can see, he's just got a little club and he's got a dagger, and I'll let my recruits deal with him. So you see they did stuff, and as they deal damage, they actually gain experience when they kill people, and they can level up themselves. So we killed 3 of the looters, wounded 1. You always end up wounding 1 in this first little battle thing here, so that you have someone to talk to. It says spare me, and he'll basically give us the information that we're looking for, which is where the hostages are held, and we basically get all their spoils. I'm going to take this woolen cap and put it on because I want some head armor. This stuff is pretty much worthless. I'll sell it later, but it's not really worth anything, and I don't want to wear it because it's not that good. I advanced to level 2, and so now you can see over here, we see the kidnapper's hideout. So we're going to go over there, and to go over there quickly, I'm going to press Control and Space, and you see I'm speeding up the time of the that the game is taking. Basically, like the speed that the game is traveling at. I'm not actually like teleporting or anything or saving time or anything, just saving time outside of what the game is, basically. So we're gonna go attack the hideout. This is another kind of mission where basically we come in here with a small group of us, and we are going to basically attack this hideout. And as we're here, people will spawn. As you get higher in level, more people will spawn of better troop types for raiders and everything. But for now, these guys are just, you know, your basic troops. And I can pull up the map and I can see exactly where they are. Those red dots are where enemies are. So, hello you, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna miss, but I'm not gonna miss this time. So you can see, crossbows do a lot of damage, but they have a long reload, and when you're doing certain parts of that reload, you cannot move, which makes them not my favorite thing. So we're just gonna start dueling people here, and when I have the chance, I'm going to reload my crossbow. Now my guys are over there, just, you know, like kicking butt and killing these looters. I think over here's... Oh, there is another one. Oh, yeah, there's this guy. So we killed all the looters, and now this guy is coming out. This is unique to this quest. Normally it just ends when you kill all the looters. Thank you for rescuing me, yada yada yada. Okay, so we're going to... Now we get, like, all their stuff. So that's a lot more stuff than we got just from killing the people. So if you can get hideouts, you can get a lot of stuff that's nice to have. So you can see there, I don't have any more inventory space. My inventory is all full. So we're going to head back to Sargoth, and we're going to use that trick again to speed up the time and go faster. This does come with risks, because if like a group of people decides they want to come up and they can chase me down, I might not notice exactly in time. So there are risks. We're going to basically go to this goods merchant because he has generally the most money, and we're going to sell all this stuff. We don't need any of it. The clubs might be nice to hang on to, but I don't really like giving my guys clubs. So we got 72 dinar from that, which is basically silver. We're going to head to the tavern and find the merchant of Sargoth again, because we have saved his brother and he owes us some money. And I want money. I need to pay my troops. So he's going to give us 200 silver pieces, which is a good amount of silver for right now. So yada yada yada. And making more money? Possibly, yeah. So now we're basically going to get into a small fight in the middle of the town. Basically, we're in the middle of the town, and some of these people are bandits. You can basically tell which ones they are. And now, yeah, you can see. And we are going to have to kill all of them. And I hit my guy, my Merchant of Sargoth guy, which is not the best decision that I could have made. You can hit your own friendly troops with ranged weapons, which is why accuracy with them is really important. But there's not a lot to do with this. Basically, there's the town guard, and the town guard are really strong. Here they are. It's trained Nord footmen and Nord warriors, which are really good troops, especially against like looters. So now, hey, this guy, he's a lie again. So, I'm glad to see that you're alive too, buddy. Yeah, yeah. Now, basically, we can visit him one more time in the tavern, and he's basically going to tell us that he got kicked out of the town by the king because he instigated a riot. And even though it was a good thing because he got rid of all the bandits in the town, it's, the king's still kicking him out because, that's how this world works. If you do good deeds, sometimes, people don't give a shit. Anyways, though, that is going to be the first episode of Mount and Blade Warband. I'm basically going to take a look at my party, and when we get back, I will take care of upgrading and leveling up people, and then we'll start our conquest of the world. I'll also go into more detail about the various mods that this version of the game has that I'm playing, and what they all do. But for now, have a good time, and I will see you later.